Hello. How's everybody doing today? It's a nice rainy day here in Seattle. We're getting our winter rain and coming into our spring rain. It's getting a little warmer around. So today I'm going to do a blog, and I'm probably maybe going to get people who are maybe irritated with me or whatever, especially from that title up there, irritated with me about asking this question. But I ask, and I keep asking because I keep wondering why people keep bringing this subject up. Now, my blog is not BWE, which is Black Women's Empowerment. There are a lot of blogs out there that are like that. Mine is not. It's a little bit of everything, but mostly I'm just trying to empower people, particularly Black women. But I'm really just trying to empower people. Period. I don't like to really join and stuff because I'm not a joiner. That's just kind of not. There are things that I'm not a joiner about. Usually because I have a different opinion, and usually joining in clubs and sort of stuff, different activities and stuff like that kind of you know restricts my ability to kind of say what I want and do what I want and think for myself and stuff like that. So I've never been a joiner. I've talked about that before, about how I'm anti-club. Never have been that sort of person. I've always had issues with belonging, and it never particularly bothered me, that. But I want to think what I want to think, and I want to be able to question stuff, even stuff that I may be for, and stuff. Sometimes I want to be able to question it without people saying, "Well, you can't question that." And usually, when you join clubs and organizations, yeah, you can't question nothing. So today I'm just was asking the question to myself because I keep sort of seeing this same theme over and over again, in the BWE thing and all this stuff. This thing, this kind of obsession with Black men. Now on this blog, I talk about Black men every once in a while. They are not a main subject of the blog because they are not the main subject of this um, blog that I have. They're not a main subject of any post that I have because they're not the focus. I'm not trying to, get Black women away from Black men or whatever and stuff. I'm trying to tell people the truth about a lot of different situations. And we talk about interracial dating and stuff like that. But my thought is you shouldn't date somebody because you're disliking somebody else. But I know people do, but that's their thing, not mine. And this probably isn't the place for you if you're doing that and stuff. And I know people have some issues with Black men. I have some issues with Black men. Trust and believe. I do. But this blog is about empowering people, and talking about other people and moaning and groaning about other folks is not going to empower you. It's not going to help you. It's not going to give you any information. It's not going to help you make better decisions, and stuff. So, moaning and groaning about how Black men don't do this, how they don't do that, how they talk about this, how they talk about Black women all the time. Yeah, this has been going on, and why people still talking about it, I don't know. People are still talking about it, and it's like it's not new, it's not news. This has been going on for a long, long time and stuff. And I know people are trying to bring people into the fold of what BWE is, but if that's your only way to get them in, is to get them in on their hate or their anger, you have a problem. Now, I read this book and I did some posts on this book a long time ago. It's my boundaries book, and I still have to do some posts on the end part of this book. I haven't finished reading it, and I haven't finished talking to you about boundaries. But there was something in this book, and I thought about it, and I thought about it in relation to what I'm talking about today. And I thought, this is very this is this is a good kind of a good quote for what I feel about BWE sort of being so obsessed with the subject, particularly of Black men. Um, Proactive people show you what they love, what they want, what they purpose, and what they stand for. These people are very different from those who are known for what they hate, what they don't like, what they stand against, and what they will not do. While reactive victims are primarily known for by their against circumstances, proactive people do not demand rights, they live them. Now, when you have been a victim of something or somebody for a long time, it's true. You should be angry and you should be mad. You should, you should be mad at that abuse, and, you should feel the rage and the hatred at what had happened to you, the powerlessness that you felt about the situation, And I know that many black women are who are coming into BWE are just now, feeling like, oh my God, this is, all this has happened to me and I didn't know it was happening. And now they're mad and now they're angry. But if your victim's rights for the rest of your lives, you're stuck in a victim mentality. So the thing is, you can be angry, and anger has a place in what it is that you're doing when you're first, kind of figuring some of this stuff out. But you shouldn't be angry forever. And what I notice is that a lot of people who seem to have been doing this for years and years and years, women who have been posting comments on this for years and years, and they're still angry. And I'm thinking, okay, I've known about BWE for a couple of years now. It must be like 4 years. And I see people who I've seen on different blogs and stuff 2, 3, 4 years now, and they're still moaning about black men, and they're still angry at them people. And I'm just thinking, you're now a victim. You have now, and if you don't break away from this, you will have no power. There are still BWE blogs that are still talking about their anger at black men. And it's like, for real? Everybody hasn't moved forward to their empowering selves and stuff, And I know people would say, well, I'm just not. Yeah, you got to move on. That's just part of, I don't need to move on. And I'm just still angry. And yeah, but you need to move on. You need to move forward. Okay. And if I have some kind of, something that I'd like people to join in, and I can only get them in on negative emotions, what I have isn't really worth much of nothing. Okay. If people come to my blog, what you're supposed to come in is to hopefully come out more empowered and not angry. When I talked about my emotional abuse and stuff, and having been a victim of emotional abuse, and now a survivor, and now, going on with my life, as mad as I could have been with my ex-husband, and I could still be mad with him, but, that gave him power over me, not me power over him. That gave him power over me. If I'm still mad at him today and I moved on and I'm supposed to be married to someone great and all, and if I'm still hot with him about what happened, those years ago, now that we're gone, who has the power here? If he's still controlling my emotions, still controlling how I feel about him, and in essence, how I kind of feel about myself, because some of the anger comes inward because you're still angry at yourself because you feel like, oh my God, I've been using abuse and I let this happen to me and stuff. And you're supposed to have moved out of this. And I'm just sort of saying this in general, just sort of for BWE and stuff. Somebody needs to move on. And stuff. Well, we need to tell women this and all this stuff. If this is all you got to tell women all the time, if this is it, if this is how you're bringing in the flock, then you really got some issues. If this is even one way you're bringing in the flock, even though there may be other ways you're bringing in the flock, if this is even one way you're bringing in the flock, you still got some issues. You still have some issues with your movement and stuff. Now, people are probably not, well, we're going to defend, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't defend victims. I mean, bring in, live on what you love, not what you hate. Promote what you love, not what you hate. Why am I promoting something that I hate? And in essence, promoting the something that you hate still really, in essence, in a little way, reveals your desire to have that thing. I think that's why yeah, there are many black men that come on and they talk and they go crazy and all that sort of stuff. But I still think it defends your it reveals your small desire, even not to have it, to at least have its approval, you know. And I just saw an article, and women were going round and round because somebody wrote an article about how much they love white women, and some black man wrote it, and I'm just thinking, and this ain't news. This ain't, this ain't news. It ain't. It ain't news. Um, this has been happening for a long time. Black men been dissing black women for a long time. After a while, if I turn every time somebody disses me and stuff or says something to me, what happens is I miss what it is that I'm actually supposed to be doing. By paying attention to this nitwit over here, I miss part of my purpose by getting sidetracked by every stupid, and this was something from some random nobody, random nobody. And why black women pay attention to stuff from random nobodies, I have no idea. It's bad enough they pay attention to the stuff when when the folks said it must was supposedly higher echelon levels or something, or movie stars or politicians or whatever, but a random nobody, really? And so some random nobody, and then some other person, some other woman who reacted to it in an angry way by doing sort of a diss opposite of his and all this stuff. And it's, once again, it's just sort of victims fighting back and forth. What he said doesn't really empower anybody. What she said doesn't really empower anybody, and stuff. And it's sort of this, two sets of people fighting. And there are no other sets of people in the world fighting like black women and black men. None. There are no other sets of same race men and women fighting fighting just, like, crazy people. One says one thing, the other says something else, and it's like kids. It's like little children, and stuff. And nobody's got enough maturity to say, you know what, we've moved on. We're doing something else. We're trying to help black women make their lives better and stuff, and this is how we're doing it. And you're just not part of the discussion, and stuff. Nothing's worse than being ignored. I don't care what anybody says. People think, oh, well, it hurts. Yeah, unwise people, here we go. Okay, from my boundaries book, I'm going to tell you, unwise people don't care about what you say. Okay, that's why they're unwise. They don't care about your, going on and lecturing them and trying to get them straight or dissing them. They could care less. That's why they're unwise. Okay? And in the general sense, whoever this young person or this person was that wrote this thing about how much he loves white women as a black man, he's just unwise. Okay? And so this other little diss thing that the other person did, he just don't care about. What unwise people care about, if you establish good boundaries, is consequences. Okay? So if you pull yourself out of a situation, out of helping somebody, out of somebody being dependent on you, okay, out of giving your resources, if you just do that part and start working on yourself and empowering yourself and making yourself better people, that will make a much, 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 much better, that will make a much better show than the we're going to diss so and so, and all that stuff. That's what little kids do. That's what children do, Um, and that makes a much better kind of show of force than this thing. It also shows some women who are hoping to be empowered that this is actually about something and it's not this sort of nanny boo boo sort of thing, and stuff. I'm certainly not that concerned about what black men as a whole do. Could care less. Okay, not my problem. Not no, don't affect me. Okay, and I'm kind of could care less what a lot of sets of people do. Don't affect me. Don't do nothing for me. Okay, and And so when I'm talking about black women, and stuff, which a bunch of them, if hey, whatever, I'm talking about black women that are wanting to be empowered, that want some knowledge, that want some information and stuff like that. I'm talking about people, you know, doing something that'll raise some people up, you know, and stuff. Less, you know, trying to, tell you exactly what to do with your life, but for you to know that you got enough sense to know what to do, and stuff, and you can make better decisions and better choices. And if you had some healthy boundaries, you wouldn't have to be in this situation. I mean, I could tell black women all over the world, just run and get a white man and all your problems would be solved, but that's a lie, and stuff. There are black women out there, even if that was their choice to stop dating one set of people and start looking at another, wouldn't know how to choose anybody anyway, and would just end up choosing another bad person just with a different name, different face, different race. What good is that? And stuff. So the hope is to give people some information so they can just choose better, period. Just all across the map, they could just choose better, make a better choice, and maybe do things a little bit better for themselves. Um, will I talk about black men again? Maybe so, not in a big hulking way and stuff, because they're not the focus of what it is that I do here. Now, this is probably different than a lot of BWE people and stuff, and somebody's going to come in here and say something and make, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to change my mind about this. I think it's a complete waste of time. I think it's sort of childish. I think you make yourself look like you really want the approval of this set of people instead of moving on with your life and letting them face consequences instead of lecturing them or dissing them or trying to make them feel bad in hopes that unwise people will somehow get it. They won't. And moving on and really having people feel some consequences because nobody's feeling no consequences now. Um, in any real sort of sense, nobody's feeling no consequences now. And so if you're really doing something and you want to make something and you want to draw somebody to you, I do it with what I love instead of with what I hate. If all you can get is a bunch of angry people that are going to be angry forever and never sort of move on to being better and empowered and making better choices, then you just have a bunch of angry black women. I mean, for real, and stuff. And that's what I seem to keep seeing is just a bunch of angry women. It's just angry, angry. And a lot of people, I'm not saying you don't have a right to be angry when you're first coming into this and figuring stuff out. I'm just saying if you stay angry, you're wasting what you could do. You're wasting your purpose. You're wasting what could happen and all the positive things you could do in your fit of anger, and stuff. Anger is a legitimate emotion. I've never said anger was not. Anger is a legitimate emotion. It signals you that something bad is going on. It is not something you should wallow in. Your pain is not something you should wallow in. You should move through it so you don't end up suffering forever. Because held on pain, all it creates is suffering. That's it. And what that means is that the other people aren't suffering, just you. And so, this is just something I wanted to bring up and bring out and say something, I don't know, to say, may not be what people want to hear, but the thing is, since this is my blog, I can say whatever I want. And that's why I have one, is so I can say exactly what I want to say and stuff, and have my own opinion and my own thoughts. That's one of the reasons I don't belong to any movement or club or organization or whatever and stuff, is because I want to be able to say what it is that's on my mind and maybe question some stuff. And once again, you will not hear a bunch of whining and moaning about, how black men, this and black what? That ain't news. Who am I telling? That ain't news. And stuff. And black women need to empower themselves instead of just be angry victims for the rest of their life. You know, and stuff. And BWE, I'm talking to you. Okay. So I gotta go. Bye bye.